What's up, guys? Thank you so much for stopping by the Helpful Dreams channel today. If you have been here before, thank you so much for your continued support. If you haven't been here before, this is where we take the most impactful knowledge and wisdom of all time and condense it into simplified versions that's easy to digest and implement into our own lives. If you came across this channel, then chances are you're working to become the best version of yourself. That's what we're all striving to achieve, so you're in good company. And without further ado, we'll be jumping into a simplified audio version of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Let's go. During the course of his 25-year career as a consultant, Stephen Covey worked with successful people in a variety of settings, including businesses, universities, and relationships. He examined a number of books written over the past 2 centuries on topics such as self-improvement, self-help, and popular psychology in an effort to comprehend what habits are essential to becoming a true success in life. Prior to the start of the First World War, people believed that a person's prosperity was dependent on their moral character. This encompassed qualities such as meekness, faithfulness, integrity, bravery, and justice. Nonetheless, following the war, there was a transition to what author Stephen Covey refers to as the personality ethic. In this scenario, success was seen to be a result of a person's personality, their public image, their behaviors, and their skills. However, these accomplishments were nothing more than fleeting victories that ignored the more fundamental aspects of life. According to Covey, if you want to have long-term success, it is not your personality that has to be developed. Rather, it is your character. What we are reveals ourselves to others considerably more than what it is that we do or say. The so-called character ethic is structured around a set of guidance principles. According to Covey, these concepts are universally applicable and can be found at the core of virtually every religious, social, and ethical framework. They can be applied anywhere in the world. When you hold the right principles in high regard, you are able to perceive the world in its accurate form. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, his book that has sold millions of copies, is built on this basis. The 7 habits that Covey outlines are the fundamental aspects of one's personality on which one can build a foundation for happiness and success. A principle-centered approach to personal as well as interpersonal efficiency is presented in the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It seeks to modify your inner core, character, and intentions rather than focusing on changing the outer manifestations of your behavior and attitudes. This is because it recognizes that these aspects are more difficult to change. If you soak in the knowledge outlined in the rest of this summary, you will be able to go from a condition of reliance to independence and then finally to interdependence with the assistance of this book's 7 practices. Covey intends that interdependence, not independence, is what leads to the most successful outcomes, in contrast to the majority of self-help books that are available on the market today, which promote independence as the pinnacle of achievement. Interdependence is a more developed and sophisticated way of thinking. It precludes the understanding that you are a self-sufficient being, but that cooperating with others will result in a better outcome than working on your own. In order to reach this level of healthy dependency, you will need to work on cultivating each of the 7 habits described in the book. The following is a list of the 7 habits. 1. Be proactive. 2. Begin with the end in mind. 3. Put first things first. 4. Think win-win. 5. Seek to understand first before making yourself understood. 6. Learn to synergize. And 7. Sharpen the saw. This overview of the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People will examine each of these effective behaviors and demonstrate how you may put them into practice to improve your chances of achieving whatever it is you set out to do in life. Habit number 1. Be proactive. Being proactive is the first and most fundamental characteristic of an effective person's habitual pattern of behavior. Being proactive entails more than simply taking the initiative. Rather, it implies accepting responsibility for your own life. As a consequence of this, you do not place responsibility for your actions on external elements, such as your circumstances, but rather you accept responsibility for them as a result of a conscious decision based on your beliefs. People who are reactive are driven by their feelings, while people who are proactive are driven by their principles. Although circumstances beyond your control have the potential to be painful, the core of your being does not have to be broken for this to occur. The most important thing is how you choose to react to the things that happen to you. People who take proactive approach to their life direct their attention and energy towards the aspects of their lives that they are able to improve, as opposed to those who take a reactive approach who concentrate on the aspects of their life over which they have no say. They build up a store of negative energy by attributing their sense of helplessness to circumstances beyond their control. Because of this, other forces are given the ability to maintain continuous influence over them. Your capacity to honor the promises you make, both to yourself and other people, is the aspect of your proactive nature that most clearly demonstrates its presence. This entails making a commitment to one's own self-improvement and consequently personal development. You can gradually develop your integrity and, as a result, your capacity to take responsibility for your life. In his book, Stephen recommends that people put their proactivity to the test by participating in a 30-day proactivity test. The second habit is to begin with the end in mind. Covey suggests seeing your own death as a way to gain deeper comprehension of this behavior. He encourages you to contemplate how you would like your loved ones to remember you, what you would like them to recognize as your accomplishments, and what kind of impact you had on their life. Participating in this thought exercise will assist you in identifying some of your core values, which should serve as a foundation for how you behave. Therefore, you should make it a goal each day of your life to contribute to the overall vision that you have for yourself. If you are aware of the things that are significant to you, you will be able to direct your life towards the things that are most important. The second habit is to recognize the old scripts in your head that are distracting you from what really matters, and then to rewrite those scripts so that they are more in line with your core principles. Because of this, when difficulties emerge, you will be able to tackle them head on and maintain your integrity because your ideals are crystal clear. According to Covey, the most effective way to begin with the end in mind is to write a personal mission statement and follow it religiously. The following should be the primary focus of it: who or what you aspire to be, your character, and what it is that you intend to do, your contributions and achievements. Your goal statement will eventually evolve into your personal constitution as time goes by. It will become the foundation upon which you will construct every decision you will ever make in your life. You'll have a rock-solid base from which you can grow to your full potential if you make upholding ideals the focal point of your life. This is very much in line with the mindset that Ray Dalio lays out in his book Principles. Because they are not dependent on anything in the outside world, principles do not change. A life guided by principles allows one to develop a perspective on the world that is both more clear and more objective. The third habit is to put first things first. To kick off this new chapter, Covey would want you to respond to the following questions. What is one activity that you could start doing on a regular basis that you aren't doing now that would make a significant difference in your personal life? In a similar vein, what is the one thing that you could do to improve your professional and commercial life? The ability to visualize and recognize your core beliefs forms the foundation of the second habit, and the third habit is the act of putting the first two habits into practice. Habit 1 helps you recognize that you are in charge of your life, and habit 2 is predicated on your capacity to do so. The application of effective self-management through one's own free will is the primary focus of this approach. Having an autonomous will indicates that you are capable of making judgments and carrying them out in accordance with those decisions. Your level of honesty determines how frequently you make use of your free will. Your integrity can be measured by how much you respect and regard yourself, as well as how well you keep the commitments you make to others. The third habit involves assigning a priority to each of these commitments and putting the most critical matters at the top of the list. In order for you to successfully manage your time in accordance with habit number 3, your activities need to conform to the following. 1. They must be guided by guiding principles. 2. They have to be conscience-directed, which means that they should provide you with the option to structure your life in accordance with the principles that are most important to you. 3. They determine your primary mission, which encompass both your values and your long-term objectives. 4. They lend a sense of equilibrium in your life. 5. They are organized on a weekly basis with adjustments made on a daily basis as required. The common thread that runs through all 5 of these statements is the idea that the priority should be placed not on optimizing your use of your time, but on fostering better connections and achieving better results. Tim Ferriss, author of The 4-Hour Work Week, expresses ideas quite similar to these in his book, and he contends that the concept of time management is severely flawed. Habit number 4, think win-win. According to Covey, the concept of win-win cooperation is not a method, but rather a philosophy of human interaction. It's a state of mind that looks for ways in which everyone involved might gain from the situation. This indicates that any agreements or solutions reached are advantageous to all sides, and that everyone is content with the way things turned out. In order to truly adopt this perspective, one must look at life as a cooperative rather than a competitive endeavor. Because of this, the pursuit of interdependence, which is the state in which one should be functioning that is the most efficient overall, is incompatible with any outcome that is not a win-win for both parties. Therefore, in order to adopt a mindset that allows both parties to benefit, you need to make the practice of interpersonal leadership a habit. In order to accomplish this, it is necessary to display each of the following characteristics when engaging with other people. 1. Self-awareness. 2. Imagination. 3. Conscience. And 4. Independent will. Covey contends that in order to be a great leader who benefits all parties involved, one must embrace 5 distinct dimensions. Dimension 1 is character. This is the foundation upon which win-win mentality is created, and it means acting with integrity, maturity, and an abundance mentality. There is plenty of everything for everyone. One person's success does not threaten your success. In other words, it means that a win for one person does not threaten a win for you. Dimension 2 is relationships. When it comes to relationships, trust is absolutely necessary in order to achieve win-win agreements. In order to keep a high degree of trust among others, you need to nurture the relationships you have. Dimension 3 is agreements. This means that all of the parties involved need to reach a consensus on the desired outcomes, the guidelines, the resources, the accountability, and the repercussions. Dimension 4 is processes. Every procedure needs to make it possible for win-win outcomes to emerge. The 5th habit is to seek first to understand and then to be understood. According to Covey, if you want to increase the quality of your interpersonal relationships, you should make an effort to first understand a situation before attempting to make yourself understood in that context. Because it's the most crucial talent you can train, being able to speak well is absolutely necessary to your total efficiency. According to Covey, the ability to listen is not given nearly as much attention as other skills, despite the fact that it takes years to learn to read, write, and talk. If you have strong convictions, it will come naturally to you to engage with other people and listen to what they have to say without making them feel as though they are being manipulated. As a consequence of this, the primary means by which you convey and communicate the kind of person that you are is through your character. People will find themselves naturally trusting you and opening up to you as a result of it. The majority of individuals listen with the purpose of providing a response, while a good listener will listen with the goal of comprehending what is being said. The ability to listen with empathy is what's meant by the term empathetic listening. An empathetic listener is one who is able to put themselves in the perspective of the person who is speaking. Because of this, they can feel the same way as the person that they're listening to. Listening with empathy consequently enables you to acquire a more accurate image of the world around you. You will be amazed by how quickly people will open up to you once you begin to listen to them with the intention of comprehending what they are saying. After you have gained what you believe to be an understanding of the circumstance, the next stage is to ensure that others comprehend what you are saying. This demands courage. You will be able to express your thoughts in a way that is congruent with the perspectives and concerns of your listener if you make use of what you've learned from empathetic listening. Because of this, the trustworthiness of your ideas will grow because you will be communicating with the audience in the same language that they understand. Habit number 6, learn to synergize. When synergy is functioning at its highest level, it includes the aspiration to arrive to agreements in which all parties involved benefit, and it emphasizes the need of empathetic communication. This is the essence of leadership that is centered on principles. Because it is predicated on the idea that the whole is more powerful than the sum of its parts, it has the effect of bringing people together and realizing their latent potential. The true test is to integrate the concepts of synergist creativity and cooperative problem solving into your everyday social interactions. Covey contends that situations involving synergistic interpersonal group collaborations are frequently overlooked, despite the fact that they ought to be a regular part of one's life. Synergy can be broken down into its component parts: a creative process with openness, vulnerability, and communication. It implies finding a way to reconcile the intellectual, emotional, and psychological differences that exist within a group of individuals. Here is where one's creative potential might truly blossom. Synergy is defined as effectiveness as a result of interdependence. This requires cooperation, the development of teams, and the establishment of a sense of unity with other people. The seventh habit is to sharpen the saw. This seventh habit is all about improving yourself in many ways through the following 4 aspects of renewal. The 3 pillars of physical health are proper nutrition, exercise, and stress management. This involves taking care of your physical body by exercising regularly, eating properly, and obtaining enough sleep. In terms of social and emotional aspects, we value service, empathy, harmony, and an innate sense of safety. You will experience a sense of safety and significance as a result of this. Meditation, value clarification, and commitment are all essential parts of spiritual practice. By putting your attention on this aspect of life, you bring yourself and your internal value system into greater alignment. Reading, imagining, organizing one's thoughts, and writing are mental activities. Constantly furthering one's education is synonymous with intellectual growth. This is absolutely necessary for maximum efficiency. To continually and routinely put into practice all 4 of these drivers of behavior is what we mean when we talk about sharpening the saw. Given that you are the instrument through which other people experience your work, this is the single most significant investment you can make in your life. It is important to tend to each area with balance, as overindulging in one area means neglecting another one. This may be avoided by maintaining a healthy equilibrium. However, one beneficial impact that results from sharpening your saw in one dimension is that it has a knock-on effect that results in positive effect in another dimension. This is because of the linked nature of the dimensions. For instance, if you concentrate on improving your physical health, you will unintentionally also enhance your mental health. This, in turn, produces a virtuous cycle of growth and change that leads to increased levels of self-awareness in the one who experiences it. As you climb up the spiral, you will need to acquire more knowledge, make more commitments, and carry out a greater number of tasks in order to become an increasingly effective individual. All right, guys, congratulations on making it to the end of our simplified version of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's easy to digest and implement into your own lives. Please subscribe to the channel if you like this simplified wisdom, and we're going to continue to spread this wisdom and knowledge to the masses. I appreciate your guys' support. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in the next one.